Yahoo Fantasy Baseball Tucson Toros group. We're taking a look at Week 10 action. This one's going to be the Grassy Knoll taking on Koufax's Revenge. This one went to Grassy Knoll 6-4. Grassy Knoll's now 55, 40, and 5 on the year, while Koufax's Revenge now sits 43, 52, and 5 overall. For Knoll, 2 matches all time against Koufax's Revenge, now 1 win and 1 tie in those 2 matches, so yet to lose to Koufax's Revenge in the all-time standings. Grassy Knoll's also at his longest win streak of the season with 3 straight victories, 3 weeks straight. Koufax's Revenge, 4th loss in 10 weeks by a final of 4-6. So we've played 10 weeks so far this season. 4 times Koufax has lost 4-6. So if you're going to lose, you might as well make it close, and Koufax is doing the best they can there with that result. For Grassy Knoll, best whip and ERA of the season this week, and for Koufax, best ERA of the season, but also a season low in pitching wins. On offense, Koufax took 4 out of 5, lost the RBI category, but on the pitching side, Knoll was able to sweep all 5 categories, so that made the difference here in this close matchup. Offensive battles were really hotly contested all across the board, while the pitching battles were pretty much a blowout in favor of Knoll. Koufax got 9 players with at least 3 runs. 5 players hit a homer. Carlos Gonzalez had 2 homers and 5 RBIs. 9 players had at least an RBI. 5 of those players had 3 or more. 5 players had a stolen base. Brandon Phillips and Shane Victorino had 2 stolen bases each. 2 players hit over 500 for the week. That was Brandon Phillips and Julio Borbón. 3 players, though, hit under 200, one of those being Ryan Domet, who really struggled this week. He hit 125 and produced just 1 run for Koufax's Revenge. For Grassy Knoll, it was a struggle to produce runs this week. Just 3 players hit homers as a team. Giovanni Soto and Miguel Cabrera both had 2 homers apiece, though. Miguel Cabrera had 2 homers, but he averaged 136 for the week from the plate, so he really struggled after being really hot for 3-4 weeks straight. Just 5 players for Grassy Knoll were able to produce an RBI. All 5 of them had at least 4, though, allowing Grassy Knoll to actually win the RBI category. 3 players, though, hit under 200, while only 1 player hit over 400, and that was the released Freddie Sanchez. In pitching, Knoll swept all 5 categories, had 2 pitchers with 2 wins each. Dan Heron had 2 wins and 14 Ks. Colby Lewis had 2 wins, 15 Ks, and a 1.8 ERA to go with an 0.73 whip. Brian Wilson had 3 saves and a 0 ERA for the week out of the bullpen. And Cliff Lee and Tommy Hansen both produced 10 strikeouts to combine for a total of 20. 3 pitchers had an ERA of 0 for Grassy Knoll as well by week's end. For Koufax, pitching struggles, just 1 pitching victory. That was Aaron Harang. Roy Halladay, usually a surefire win every week. He had 8 Ks but no wins. Edwin Jackson had 9 Ks and no wins. And Octavio Dotel, who actually helped take the saves category for the first time for Koufax's Revenge last week. Dotel gets rocked this week. Didn't produce a save. He had a 27 ERA and a 3 whip. A terrible week for Dotel out of the bullpen. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays pen that Koufax has been employing every week, Jason Frazier and Scott Downs, they struggled again. Frazier had a 7.71 ERA and a 3 whip, while Scott Downs had a 4.5 whip. So the Blue Jays bullpen struggles continue, and it continues to really adversely affect Koufax in the standings. Moving forward, though, Grassy Knoll is now 4th overall, 11 games out of first place. It's going to be taking on AZ Padres, 8th place AZ Padres this coming week here. Should be a pretty good matchup between those 2 teams. And Koufax's Revenge now sits 11th in the standings, so still would see postseason play if things started today. And only 8 games out of 6th place, so really very much in touch with the postseason action and the middle of the standings. So Koufax shouldn't really be worried. As long as some movements may be made on the rosters, Koufax should be looking up in the standings with some hope. Unfortunately, they're going to be playing one of the top teams in the league this week, Greek Thunder. Greek Thunder has actually 2 victories over Koufax dating back to last season, so this is the first time they've faced off this year. We'll see if Koufax can pick up the first ever win against the Greek Thunder franchise, or if Greek will improve to 3-0 overall.